Welcome to the CNFL Madden 25 gameplay rules and regulations. My name is LD Mario DL28. Some of you call me Lou, some of you call me Mario. I will be letting you know the rules for this year's CNFL Madden 25 experience. If you have any questions, please feel free to post in the rules forum. After some issues we had with Madden 13, stiffer rules will be needed for Madden 25. Some may seem harsh at first look, but remember, they would affect very few, and for those that it affects, they deserve it. Signing this thread is considered your warning. We want to return to the fair sportsmanship and sim play that CNFL has been known for. First, deadline is every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be playing on all Madden game level. We will be playing with 8-minute quarters and 15-second accelerated clock. Disconnect rule. First and foremost, communicate with your opponent. General guidelines. If the game disconnects in the first quarter, replay it. If the game disconnects in the second quarter or later, keep the score in the back of your mind and play out the remaining quarters. Then, if the team who is supposed to win the game is still winning, finish it out, making sure the team that would have been winning at the end of 4 quarters or have the losing team then quit out of the game. Playing a CPU opponent. Our league generally runs full. If you get a game against a CPU, there is a 42-point cap rule. If you need to restart against the CPU for disconnection or whatever, you better inform the commish. This will be done using our new username, which you all know very well at this point is the new name, which you guys all know. It's the the at CNFL Legend name. Thank you. So, again, because I got off a track, our league generally runs, as you know, our league generally runs full. If you get a game against a CPU, there is a 42-point cap rule. If you need to restart against the CPU or for disconnection or whatever, you better inform the commish or at CNFL Legend, of course. The guys in our league will call you out quick if they see multiple restarts against the CPU. If you are losing to the CPU, take the loss like a man and own it. Do not restart if your star player gets hurt either. Multiple restarts against the CPU will result in possible removal from the league. QB passing yards for one QB need to be under 400 yards. Wide receiver yards need to be under 200. Running back yards need to be under 200. This is to protect against stat/XP padding. CNFL Madden 25 roster requirement. Each team must maintain a roster of 53 players all season. Each team must carry at least 2 quarterbacks, 2 halfbacks, 5 wide receivers, 3 tight ends, or fullback. Any mix of 3 works. 10 offensive linemen, 2 kickers, 1 kicker and 1 punter, 6 defensive linemen, ends and tackles, 6 linebackers, in or out or middle, 9 DB. That's 45 players. You decide on at least 8 any way you like to get to 53. Any team under 53 players at any time during the season, 2 players suspended for 4 games. Trade rules. You can only trade for up to 6 players in a season, or receive 6 players in a season. Unlimited amount of trades. First round picks count as players in trades. The most players you can get in any single trade is 3 players. So that means if you get 2 players and 1 pick, that's 3. You cannot get 3 players and 1 pick. That would be 4. You can only trade with a specific team in one season. This is to prevent loopholes with having multiple trades with one partner. A season consists of the start of the off-season to the end of the Super Bowl. To help us review trades fairly, please post the following info when posting a trade. Failure to do so will result in a rejection automatically. You need to post your player name, his position, his salary, and his years left. Please also put your reasoning behind why you are making the trade. Trade rules broken, sending more than 6 players. First offense, 1 player suspended for 4 games. Will be the highest rated player you receive for the reason. Second offense, you must release the player. Of course, it should never get to this because we were rejected anyway. But still the rule is there. So abide by it. Releasing a player. Yes, when you release a player, you must post it in the release forum under team transactions. Not posting release and forum, 2 players suspended for 2 games. In-season free agent / waivers. In-season free agency will be handled via waivers. When you see a free agent you would like to sign, you must PM CNFL Legend a waiver claim. If after 24 hours you are the only person or the person with the highest waiver priority to claim the player, you can sign the player to a contract. Please make sure before putting in a claim you can afford the player. After the draft, undrafted players can be picked up through the first week of the season without doing a claim. After week 1, you must place a waiver claim. Re-signing players. 3-year max contract. When re-signing players, we are going to stick with the 3-year max contract. The player is going to tell you how much they want per year. So offering them a 3-year contract in most cases should still keep your player happy. If he wanted a longer term deal, he'd still be happy with 3 years. There still might be some cases the player doesn't re-sign, but more often than not, they will. The reason for this is so guys aren't given contracts longer than the franchise life, considering most of the contracts are backloaded. If you sign a player for more than a 3-year deal, you must release that player no matter what the cap hit. You will have a second opportunity to sign that player to a 3-year deal before he hits waivers. CNFL Madden 25 offensive gameplay. One moment. Play calling. You must have a respectable mixture of plays called on both offense and defense. No constant repetition of plays. The rules are obvious, more lenient on defensive play calling. If you are building your defense around a certain play in your base formation, try to mix it in other plays and spin-offs. Example, 3-4 cover. 3-4 cover 2. Then 3-4 cover 2 buck. Then maybe 3-4 cover 3. Play calling is the most important ingredient for a sim game. If something works, that's understandable. But don't go for it every down. NFL teams exploit certain ideas / schemes that work against the opposition, not specific plays. You must run and pass 10 times each in a game. If you do not do this, and it is 20% below the total amount of plays, then you are in violation. You cannot exceed 40% of your completed passes to running backs and fullbacks. You cannot exceed 33% of your completed passes to one player. This is known as the percentage rule. This will be checked every so forth and so often. The percentage rule, 33% plus to one player or 40% to halfbacks/fullbacks, first offense. Player in question is suspended 2 games. Oh no, that's not right. First offense, you will be given a warning. Second offense, player in question is suspended 2 games. Third offense, admin review. You cannot exceed 25% of your team runs with your quarterback. First offense, you are given a warning. Second offense, player in question suspended 2 games. Third offense, player in question suspended 8 games. Actually, going back to the previous halfback running back, player suspended 8 games on the third offense. It should not happen. These percentages will be checked at random after week 3 of the season. This rule is put in support of sim play. Goal line. You can only call goal line inside the 10-yard line. Scrambling. Only scramble if you're under pressure and your quarterback has to use his feet to avoid a sack/keep the play alive. Design rollouts are understandable and tolerable, but you are not to be overused. If you have a dual threat quarterback, such as RG3, moving out of the pocket more often is understandable, although only to a certain extent. To sum up this section, your quarterback is expected to be a pocket passer first and foremost, and a scrambler only if necessary, or if the play calls for it. Dual halfback is only allowed in the pistol and shotgun split formations. Any other formation that uses a fullback, you must use a fullback or your third tight end. Wide receiver depth chart rule. You can use your highest rated overall wide receiver at 1 or 2 only in the depth chart. However, it is encouraged that you use him at the 1. Fourth down rule. Fourth and short. That's inches or 1 yard. You can go for it if you're past your opponent's 40-yard line. Fourth down. Do not go for it unless you're trailing by 17 points. Trailing by 10 in the fourth quarter, or trailing after the 2-minute warning of the fourth quarter. Onside kick. Only when trailing in the fourth. Do not run the clock, blowout excluded, the entire game. Use the clock realistically. You can only use the no huddle in the last 2 minutes of each half, or if you are trailing by more than 9 points in the fourth quarter. As the person losing the game, you can continue to play offense hard, but understand you do risk an interception return for a TD. I will add, if your opponent does happen to score on that return to a TD, they are not running up the score. That's your fault. So don't say they're running up the score. Do not quit under any circumstance. If you're up by 28 or more in the second half, you have to sub out your starters. If at any point your opponent comes back up to 14 points, you can put back in your starters. It's only beneficial to your team because guys won't get hurt. And it's realistic as most teams, except the Patriots, because they're douchebags, would do this in the NFL. You can fake punt once and or fake field goal once per game. Meaning, you can fake once for each. You can only do this if you are tied or losing the game. CNFL Madden 25 defensive gameplay. Play calling. Must be a respectable mixture of calls. Oh, we did this already. We already went through that, of course. But here's the D-line shifts. You cannot manually shift your defensive line to exploit Madden's flawed AI. Example, shifting your defensive line to the right or to the left and then crashing your D-line to that side as well. This causes the tackle to engage with the wrong defender, virtually allowing the outside defender a free lane as soon as you hike the ball. Note, this is only when you are using 4 D linemen. A 3-man shift is okay. No continuously shifting D-line left or right till the ball is snapped to confuse O-line AI at the snap. Manual movement of linebacker or DB is allowed to man align a player. On other than man alignment, any manual movement of linebacker or DB prior to the snap must remain on that player. Positions, substitutions. You can play a player at the position related to his position as noted. Defensive linebackers can play DE or DT. Linebackers can play left outside linebacker, right outside linebacker, or middle linebacker. Secondary players can play at cornerback, free safety, and strong safety. Offensive linemen can play at any offensive line position. If a package is offered in the game, this is okay, but please, no repetition. You can only play a linebacker at DB if you can prove that he played DE in the NFL at some point in his career. That's the NFL, not college. 2, you run a 4-3-D. If you have a linebacker you want to play at DE and you can do the above, please send a PM to one of the admins, or of course, better than sending to admins, send it to @CNFL Legend. We will then discuss and get back to you. If your linebacker does not match the above criteria, he cannot play DE. For each case given, we will keep a running list on the board so everyone is aware of the exempt linebackers. If you ever decide to move to a 3-4-D, or that player is traded to a team who runs 3-4, he is no longer eligible to be a DE. No glitching, period. You cannot hold down the yellow LB button consistently while playing D. Obviously, this is a glitch we learned last year that causes fumbles. Blocking field goals. You cannot manually move defensive players on a field goal or XP attempt, extra point attempt. Punt returns. You can only manually move a return man prior to the snap. Defensive player positions or for suspension. Default player positions for suspension. Opponent can always overrule and select suspended players for any game. QB, running back, wide receiver, defensive back, linebacker, or the next highest rated player. Just no offensive line, kicker, punter, or fullback. Gameplay penalties. Quitting a game. One benefit of the doubt without proof. One benefit of doubt without proof. First offense. 4 players suspended for 8 games. 4. Second offense. Owner suspended for 4 games. Third offense. Removal from league. Of course, you should never be quitting games. During game rules. Infraction. Photo/video proof. Photo and video proof is required for this. First offense. 4 players suspended for 4 games. Second offense. 4 players suspended for 8 games. Third offense. Admin review. Repeat offender. This means 3+ complaints of similar description with no photo or video proof. First offense. 2 players suspended for 4 games. Second offense. 2 players suspended for 8 games. Third offense. Admin review. Remember, all of these get sent to CNFL Legends. And that concludes the rules for Madden 25. I hope everybody does well this year and has fun playing Madden football for the Xbox 360. Thank you. My name is Lou, LD Mario DL28.